In the mystical realm of Elysian, hidden from the eyes of ordinary mortals, there existed a fragile equilibrium that had been maintained for countless centuries. This balance was safeguarded by an ancient and powerful relic known as the Crystal of Eternity. It wasn't just any crystal, it pulsed with the very lifeblood of the world, channeling the energy of the universe itself. It resided deep within the sacred grove, a hidden sanctuary untouched by time, and guarded by an order of protectors long forgotten by most of the realm's inhabitants. But as all things eternal, the crystal was not invulnerable. It required a guardian, a chosen one, known only in the prophecies as the Crystal Keeper. The prophecy foretold that this keeper would rise when the world faced its darkest hour, but as years passed, many came to believe it was nothing more than legend. Aurora had never believed herself to be special. Born in the quiet village of Zalor, nestled between the Silverwoods and the misty hills, her life had always been one of peaceful simplicity. She helped her mother tend the village herbal shop, harvesting medicinal herbs and mixing remedies to heal the villagers. She had always felt an unusual closeness to nature, especially the towering trees that seemed to hum with life. But beyond that, Aurora saw herself as an ordinary village girl. She dreamed, as many her age did, of adventures in far-off lands, but her feet remained firmly planted in the familiar soil of Zalor. Her world was filled with routine, until, one fateful autumn evening, everything she knew changed. The day began like any other, the golden light of the setting sun casting a warm glow over the village. As Aurora prepared a poultice for a customer, there came a soft, yet urgent knock at the door. Wiping her hands on her apron, she opened it to find Elder Morven standing there. The village elder, known for his wisdom and mastery of the old ways, was a figure of deep reverence in Zalor. His long silver beard flowed like a river, and his dark eyes held an ancient knowledge, as if he carried the weight of many lifetimes. Few villagers ever spoke to him directly unless they sought his guidance on matters of great importance. Aurora, his voice was steady and deep, "We need to speak. It is time." Aurora blinked, momentarily taken aback. Time for what? She had no inkling of what he could possibly mean, yet the seriousness in his tone made her stomach twist with unease. She hesitated for a moment, but quickly grabbed her shawl and followed him as he gestured toward the village outskirts. The path they took led toward the Silverwoods, where the trees stood older than memory, their thick roots knotted into the earth and their leaves shimmering faintly with an unnatural glow as twilight descended. They walked in silence, the only sounds the soft rustling of leaves and the occasional chirp of night creatures awakening. As they delved deeper into the woods, Aurora's curiosity and apprehension grew. What could Elder Morven possibly want with her? She had always admired his wisdom from afar, but never had she been singled out for anything of importance. In fact, she had lived a life content in its simplicity, far removed from the arcane or mysterious. As they reached a clearing bathed in the pale glow of the rising moon, Morven finally stopped and turned to face her. His eyes glistened, catching the moonlight, and when he spoke again, his voice carried a weight that seemed to hang in the cool evening air. "Aurora, the time has come for you to know the truth," he said. "You are not just a simple village girl, as you have believed. You are destined for something far greater. You are the Crystal Keeper." The words struck her like a blow, leaving her speechless. Her? The Crystal Keeper? She had heard the stories, of course, like everyone else. The village children whispered tales of the Crystal of Eternity, a sacred object hidden deep within the sacred grove, guarded by an elusive protector who would save the world in its time of greatest need. But those were just stories, weren't they? Aurora stammered, searching for the right words, but none came. She could only stare at Morven, her mind reeling. But that's just a legend. It's not real. It is real, Morven interrupted gently but firmly. The crystal exists, and so too does the prophecy. You were chosen, Aurora. The moment you were born, the crystal sensed your presence. You are its protector, whether you believe it or not. Aurora felt her pulse quicken. This couldn't be real. She was just an ordinary girl, no different from anyone else in the village. And yet, something inside her stirred, a deep, unspoken connection that she couldn't quite deny. "I don't understand," she whispered, her voice trembling with uncertainty. How could I possibly protect something so powerful? I'm not a warrior. I'm not even magical." "You possess more than you know," Morven said. "Your connection to nature, your bond with the earth, that is magic in its truest form. The crystal recognized it long ago. And now, with darkness rising, it calls to you. You must answer." Still reeling, Aurora could only nod, though doubt and fear clouded her thoughts. She had never been anything more than a healer, a girl who loved the woods and found peace in the silence of nature. How could she possibly be the one destined to save the world? Elder Morven beckoned her forward, leading her deeper into the heart of the Silverwoods. The trees seemed to grow taller the further they went, their trunks thickening, their branches entwining like the gnarled hands of ancient beings. Aurora could feel the air change around her. It grew heavier, more charged with energy, as if the very forest itself was watching. And then, they arrived. The sacred grove was more beautiful than Aurora could have imagined. It wasn't just a grove, it was a living entity, pulsating with energy. The trees here were unlike any she had ever seen, their bark shimmering like silver, their leaves a soft gold that glowed in the moonlight. In the center of the grove stood the Crystal of Eternity, resting upon a pedestal of stone, its light brighter and more pure than anything she had ever beheld. It pulsed gently, its light ebbing and flowing like the heartbeat of the world. For a moment, Aurora stood frozen, overwhelmed by the sight of it. The crystal was smaller than she had expected, no larger than an apple, but its energy filled the entire grove. She could feel it vibrating in the air, whispering to her, calling her forward. "Place your hand on the crystal," Morven said softly. "It will reveal what you need to know." Her heart pounding, Aurora stepped forward, her hands trembling as she reached out. The moment her fingers touched the cool, smooth surface of the crystal, a surge of energy shot through her, filling her with warmth and light. Images flashed through her mind, visions of the past, of the crystal keepers before her, battling darkness, protecting the realms. She saw Zalor, the dark sorcerer, his power immense, his cruelty unmatched. He had been defeated long ago, but now he was returning, more powerful than ever. And he wanted the crystal. Aurora gasped, pulling her hand away, her breath coming in shallow bursts. Zalor, he's coming. He's after the crystal. Morven nodded gravely. Yes. The darkness rises again, as it was foretold. Zalor seeks the crystal, and if he claims it, all of Elysian will fall into shadow. But I'm not ready. Aurora protested, her voice shaking. I don't know how to fight. I've never wielded magic before. How can I stop him? The crystal chose you, Aurora, Morven said quietly. It sees the strength within you, even if you cannot see it yourself. You are the crystal keeper, and with time, you will learn what that means. Aurora stared at the glowing crystal, fear and uncertainty swirling inside her. She had never asked for this, never imagined a life beyond the village. But now, as the weight of her destiny settled over her, she realized there was no turning back. Elysian needed her. The world was counting on her. I'll do it, she whispered, though her voice trembled. I'll become the crystal keeper.